Okay, guys, so what we're going to do in this video is a sample of what we do every day in the Duncan Capital Discord. We look at a lot of higher time frame VWAPs, and these are set up in a custom way. We're utilizing some very fine details across some of these VWAPs, and essentially it offers up a bit of an insight is into my edge, how I trade, and thus how some of the guys trade here against different time periodicities. So yeah, as we're coming into FOMC tonight, I just thought this might serve as interesting for the guys and girls out there who watch these videos on YouTube. All right, we'll go into it now. Enjoy. Okay, this is the AET for Wednesday, the 20th of March, 2024, and we have FOMC coming at us tonight. So, in relation to that, with that sort of context, we are going to have a look at these markets. We're gonna start off with the dollar, okay, because this is kind of the biggest clue giver around all this stuff. For me, coming into this, ultimately, I think we're in a bit of a situation here that we are kind of going side to side and flat in the Dixie right now. Now, when the Dixie gets kind of flat like this, um, it is a little bit hard to trade because essentially you're kind of I would be technically motivated to trade the range to come back down in. You've had like we were sustained here, condition held, and then couldn't get above one deviation and then down, right? And we breached -1 deviation. Okay, so that is going to drag the VWAP a bit flat here. And then sustained by the -1, DVAL, dynamic value area low. And we start that auction up. That auction is now complete, okay, up to here. All right, that's essentially complete. These are not hard levels though, okay? So it becomes really, really, really difficult, okay? Really difficult. But we're on the outside of the onion here, right? This is the big onion, right? And so let's see what we can see here. All right, so that is your +1, right? And high of day there, right? And for us to then go a little lower, well, we don't have the benefit of a yearly to a quarterly, but we do have the monthly here, up here, right? And so what you can see here on the monthly is that we're holding +1 right here. Month, right? We you can condition shift on a +1 and a -1, right? So we condition shift over the 1 here up into the 1.5, pulls back into ETH and sustained. And now we're holding on that +1 and buyers coming in there. All right, continuation of this sort of yen, BOJ, tightening, etc., etc. Right? Up we go, and then we hit that +1 and sellers. All right, well, certainly accumulation, right? Accumulation, not so much selling, right? But we're kind of accumulating in a zone here on the 1.5, is holding to the tick there today. And this bid could provide us with an uplift, okay? Now, it's hard to imagine that we don't finish today without some form of a pullback here, okay? And prove the imbalance up at the PVAH and go, right? And so you've seen that with APAC, right? We were contained, and then we went imbalanced up about 7:30 here, okay? 7:30. All right, so I think we continue up higher on the dollar over today. We may get a pullback in and around PVH and to VWAP. I think over high volatility, we could get a pullback to the 103.82s, and this is where the trading comes in, all right? I think if you see dollar at 103.82s and the Fed have done nothing, which they're expected to do, and he's not now starting to sound super hawkish, i.e., we may have to push easing, or we may have to talk about cutting rather than 2024, but 2025. All right, anything that leans towards pushing out the cuts is going to probably see a rebid into the Dixie, right? That's what I think. Okay. Now, could we get a mispricing if he starts to, for whatever reason? I think if we come back to here on the Dixie, it's going to be a bit supportive. So Dixie comes down to here. That's going to be euro back somewhere around p-val, right? Now this is +1 on the euro, but you can see that this, while there's accumulation going on at this level, there's the same going on here, right? Just under the respective or the inverse level on the dollar. Okay, so what I like about this is sitting on my fucking hands, all right, for in terms of, you know, FX trades, basically, right, sitting on those hands and just wait for the data, wait for it to shake out. But ultimately, you know, if we shift down here on euro, the trade's gone. The horse is in the next parish. You know, you can't put on risk shorts down from this area. You know, I mean, maybe on the scalp, right? Fine. You know, you got a little bit of a bear flag coming in here for sure, right? Look at that. But, you know, over high volatility, this is going to go here and it's going to go up probably somewhere around here. Okay. So just be mindful of that when you're looking at currency trades over this data. All right. If you get a mispricing, it could be, well, it can come in a lot of different flavors. All right. Dollar take a run up here. That's going to be euro breach to the downside. And who knows which way the event is going to go. But ultimately, keep core principles at heart here. And this is the same up for every market. All right. We're imbalanced down on the year. We condition shift up on the year over the Q high. All right. I mean, maybe it'll be better if I do this. Right? What does this tell you? Well, we've condition shifted here. Condition shift pullback confirmed yesterday, proving again today. We should have buyers that bring us up to complete, or to, well, to, sorry, not to restart, I think, the auction back up here. I think it's been a bit of a messy start at the start of the year. I think the best selling to be done on the euro is actually up around here, or a retest on the quarterly high, 1.09390s. Okay, now you might not trade the euro, but learning how these things move will be applicable to all markets. So it's really kind of range bound on the dollar until it's not, right? So not a great place to take a trade here. I mean, if you were to go into the head, it'll be short. But you're fading an imbalanced up market, so that's a big trade. Anyway, moving through these markets, I'm sure people are interested in Bitcoin. I'll probably come off the 7-day view here and just go back to a daily to where we are. Let's just normalize this chart a little bit there because there's just so much trade on this thing. We'll leave it like that. Okay, new high, and then we just can't hold over that prior high, 69.146 half. Okay, see this? See this here? 1, 2 days. Trying to, can't even do it. Bang, down she goes. Okay, so look, 52, well, 53s even on the pullback for support. See, this is a nice little area here. See that? Okay, so I think, yeah, stay with the shorts on Bitcoin for now. All right, and listen, I have been known to be bang wrong on that thing, but I'm just sticking with what I know. Yeah, so maybe see that weekly VWAP IPB short there would be a potential trade, and you could also be looking at a weekly p-val test here. See this? But I think that auction has already started 2 days ago, late in the session there at about 9:30 GMT. So yeah, this would be quite a nice little trade actually on that short there. We'll keep an eye on that throughout the day. VIX, look, I don't think we can learn anything from the VIX where it is. It's had a big gap up overnight. Maybe a pull back onto somewhere like the 14.6 10s could be on the cards. Moving through the equities now, we'll get into something a bit beefier, and we'll look at the Nasdaq. So look, it's imbalanced up, holding here on a big test, big day up there on the 21st of Feb. Up she goes, and generally holding here. This isn't clean. You can see how it's not easy to trade these bigger, higher time frame VWAPs as hard levels. You're going to need to lean on, like, prior little shelves, like here, for example. That's a random high there. Well, it's not too random. It's a significant sort of looking high. You're going to need to work those levels in around here, or your composite value areas, highs and lows. Um, you know, if you're trading this, you 100% should be having those up every single day and updating them when they need updating. Because as you can see, we're putting a huge amount of sideways value the last week here, the last 2 weeks. Anyway, look, I don't think anything's going to stop this market. Jason actually put a video out about Nvidia and the dollar yesterday on the yen, and it was pretty much feeding into what I was saying was, you know, we had this Nvidia event, GTX event yesterday, which should have been like a big bullish event, but the market opened and it was 3% down. We're now open on equities. Market opened 3% down, and then gradually clawed its way to be closing 1.1% up. All right, so that was pretty meaningful information there, right? Because the market is, if it closed 3% down, okay, fine. We probably be unwinding quite a bit today, but there's no catalyst to do that, man. Because we have FOMC tonight. There's way too much trade to happen tonight and tomorrow and the next day. So why, would the market start a sell-off now ahead of an FOMC event where anything could happen? So look, we're bid up. The buyers are loving this shit, and we're going higher. We're going higher again. New all-time high. Fine, yeah, chalk it up. Buy those calls, man. Do it. So off we go. So I'm just going to update these events here, or sorry, these levels here, just so we're in the know in case we get a hugely volatile event. Now, in the context of FOMC tonight, where could this thing move to? Where are the big areas here? Well, it could go anywhere, but I mean, I would be looking at the 1.5 here, 17,902s, for the pullback. Have been looking for a pullback to the 17,722s. Probably too far for this market, given the support that we have seen on Nvidia yesterday. I actually think on the day trade you could get the M-1 come in here today, right? It's confluent with the B1 as well. So yeah, I think buyers there on the back of no news. I don't think we're even going to get that though, because we're trying to get over monthly VWAP, but it's flat as a as a pancake here. Flat as a pancake. We're here, then we're back in the middle. So I really couldn't be issuing longs other than here, and the bigger opportunity, best opportunity long will be here, 17,902s. Let's see how that trades. We're looking at the monthly VWAPs today because it's a big day ahead. So there's no point in having your small glasses on today, right? SPOOs. Ultimately, I think this event will finish and the market's just going to try and rally unless he comes out pretty hawkish by trying to kick the can down the road for any cuts, and that's what I think he's ultimately going to end up having to do. But look at this high we're going to test here on the SPOOs. That was the high of the 11th of March. Maybe for the range trade to kick in back into this range, you could see the sellers come in from that high there. We've sharked it. So be aware of that. I'd let it flush and then maybe look for a short, but hold on a second. It's put in a whole APAC and European session now of acceptance above WPVAH. Right? So what do I like about the day trade? Will be PVAH on the day, long confluent with weekly VWAP. Right? I have that thing coming up there. So I like the trade here. Oh, going on. There we go. Got my hotkeys. First sign of old age. Yeah, I like that little trade there. You know, I like that little trade there. For the day trade, wish I could see similar appeal for the Nasdaq, similar occurrence to happen, but yeah, maybe. Nah, it's just too tight. It's just too tight. Um, Ultimately, I think when we're over the data events, I think if you get a pullback onto the 5137s, let it flush, man, because this will be messy as down here, right? Let it flush. And then when the volatility sort of dried up a wee bit, then you could kind of go in there and get a bit of retracement going on, right? Could look at a monthly situation here to kind of make it a bit bigger. There you go. Confluent with MPVAH 5135, right? So that's sexy. That is sexy. All right, that's nice and cheap. I might be a bit far now for this market today. This is going to turn into an extra long AET for FOMC. That's going to be about 2% down, 1.9 down on the session for the SPOOs. Should we get down there? Nice trade on the shorts if you can weather the pattern shift on the week, which won't be very comfortable to try and hold because this thing is IB over on the week now, accepting. Yeah, so a couple of trades there. I'm going to drop the monthly until we get to later on. So we just want to see that up on the weekly. And then the Dow, finishing off here for equities. Yeah, here's your B2. And we'll make that A1, B1, same thing. Don't know if we need to highlight that one. And we haven't gotten that trade. Yeah, so there's that range down here. I'm gonna normalize that because I don't think we need to track that range anymore. Look, again, it's holding IB over on the, or it's putting in good acceptance here over the MPVAH. That's monthly PVAH. Look at this clean condition shift though, up on the month here. I would hazard a guess that the MVWAP on a pullback just off of just below the p-val could be kind of sexy there. Could be kind of nice, right? So that's the day trade. I will be all out of that, you know, as soon as I could before FOMC. Gold. Let's have a look at gold. We're in the shorts here, looking for the pullback. Going to be tier. I think I've tiered something. Certainly now into my running size for the downside. Am I willing to resell something on this thing? Yeah, maybe at weekly p-val. I mean, see there yesterday, with WP-val on the open, got into new lows there. Not on the week, almost though. But this acceptance below WP-val is gonna. I think it's gonna yield a condition shift down on the month, right? So you could just kind of like hide this weekly scenario, right, and just see what's going on here. Look at this. Oh, great. Look at this. See this? So yeah, there'll be buyers when we initially come in here. But I mean, let's see. Let's see. You know, do we hold this condition up or not? And if we don't, well, I mean that imbalance pullback there over the open there a couple of minutes ago, imbalance pullback short of VWAP, confluent with 1.5 on the Q. Nice short. That should yield a new low on the week, I think, on gold. All right. Over today's event, I would be only looking at shorting the M+1 up here. And I couldn't be shorting anything for a run down here. Couldn't do it. It's too cheap. Too cheap to be selling. You know, I think up here is nice and expensive. I think down here, the -1 on the year. Yeah, obviously I've highlighted that 2130s. Okay, so that could be interesting. Yeah, 2130s and the 2125s. That could be really nice. Essentially, but you know, we're going to have to kind of refirm a lot of this analysis once we get closer to the data event, guys. So see how she's trading later on. But weak, definitely weak. Actually, before I go off of that daily chart, which is where all the truth is really, I think we just come down and test this this area here, right? The +1 on the B period, the Q. Yeah, I think we need to test that. Whether we're going to go below or not, I couldn't tell you that right now. But I think longs would be nice here, under the right conditions. Bonds. We'll finish off on bonds and we'll have the whole kit and caboodle done here. So bonds. Here. Yeah, all right. We're going to need to test up on the -1 on the month here on the bonds, and it could reach for a little rejection at the MPVAH because we kind of have not initiated an auction in this monthly area at all. We have not started a monthly auction down, and we have not started a monthly auction up, right? Sure, if I show the week here, it might be a little bit more interesting, but okay. Do that. Yeah, so a test up here could be interesting, but that's the market's gonna probably trade here for a short, I reckon, over this volatility. There we go. And it's really important to kind of have an idea about the bonds because we're gonna trade some gold, man. So yeah, there's Dow imbalance pullback on ETH. Taking a short here. See if it wants to drop. All right, that's it for an AET. Any questions or queries, please send them in on a stamped addressed envelope.